Okay, so we are going to be doing the cups. We're actually going to finish all the elastics with the cup on it. So I'm going to set my pattern pieces so I've got a left and a right. These are just my extras for another sample. Now over here we see we have side apex. That means this one is on the side. So that one would be over there. And this one is over here. I'll put that over here. Okay, then we have apex in front. This is going to be right here. And this one is going to be right there. Okay, so now it's really important that we do not flip them. So I'm going to put a pin on the top side on the side. So over here, because it's really easy to start getting these pieces mixed up. And I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this seam together. Okay, so I'm going to fold those two together and sew these seams. And you want to be very accurate, or as accurate as you can be, because your seam allowances are so small and this is such a fine fit. So I may have actually missed that little bit just there because my battery or my memory card was full, so I'm just going to pick right back up with the other one. What I was saying is that you want to make sure that your cutting and your sewing are as accurate as they are, as accurate as they can be. So if you cut big, you want to sew big. If you cut small, you want to cut small, or you want to sew small. Okay, so these ones we actually do want to press the seam open. And I'm going to come right over here and the other side. Press the seam open. It's going to look pretty flat, although it does have a little bit of curve, and this actually does hit the bias, so it's going to allow for shaping in that bottom cup. So if you're wondering why is there just one piece down here, or why is there two pieces and not just one piece, that is the reason. Okay, so we have this. Now we can actually go in and put a little bit of seam tape or a little bit of tricot. So and what I have right here is a little bit of, it's a bias cut tricot, and you can do this with your own, and it's just to make it soft. So make sure your tricot is soft. This is a product that I believe is the Dritz brand, the Seams Great. I have honestly had this since I was in college, so I have had this for about 20 years, so it does last a while. I had, I think, one of each color. I've already used all of the white. I have a little bit of the black left, but I've got cream now. So what you're going to do is you're basically going to line it up on top. And we can do 2 rows holding that seam allowance down. Now this stitch will be visible on the outside, so you do want to make sure you get this as straight as possible. I'm just going to grab my threads. Okay. What you can do when you get to the very end, you can put the needle down, and if it'll let you pivot, you can pivot it, walk it across about 3 stitches, and then come back down the other side. And what the seam tape does is it just makes it so that, yeah, nice. I may have to go in and let me fix that. as I was saying, I'm just going to end up coming and going on this second row on the other side. And I probably should have a little bit finer needle, but I have not been able to find many needles for this machine. So all the ones I have that came with this machine, the needle is about 1 millimeter too short. So sometimes when I'm using them with the fabrics, I just end up having a lot of problems. So that one looks really nice. I did and I know I don't do much pinning, but that's because I've been sewing basically my entire life. And I don't always pin. I pin when I'm on the overlock machine, but I do not pin when I normally sew. And so another reason why you don't want to have your back stitches is when you get something that's like this and we have to go in and pull it out and pick our stitches back out. So I'm going to have to go in there and fix that a little bit. Now this little bit, I think I'm going to take a got a little pleat in there, so I'm just going to take out a couple stitches without breaking my threads. Oh, there's another. Well, I guess I'll break that thread. It's okay, that's likely going to be in a seam allowance. I'm not too worried about that. Plus this is for my sister, so she can deal. Okay, so now, which piece is which piece? Well, luckily I put those pins on the top line at the side, so I know which pieces go to which pieces. So here I'm going to just line these up, and I'm going to sew these at that 1/4 inch. And remember, this is a very small cup. And that's because my sister is a little bit more fit than I am. She's a little bit smaller, and yeah, she's a little bit luckier that she doesn't have to deal with these giant ladies. Although she has a very shallow cup, as you can tell. So even the commercial bras don't really fit her all that well because they look like they're small, but the whole top of her cup is very, very shallow. It's very empty. Okay. It's looking good. Okay, which side did I have a little bit overlap? So I did it on that side. So I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to start over here. For some reason, have an extra little bit of length there. So I'll go double check my pattern, but it may have been my cutting, or it might have been how my seams came together. This one I am also going to be ironing and doing my seam on. And this is a little ironing ham that I made a long time ago. I've got the pattern for this somewhere. Come on. There we go. Okay, now I can take a little bit of the seam tape and sew it over my seams. I guess I could probably have sewn a little bit straighter, but like I said, it's for my sister. And I also could have used a matching thread instead of the black, which is contrasting. So in case you are sewing this and your seams, let's say, don't match over, as long as the top cup seam is all the way to the end, like this part can be over a little bit, that's the important part. This was an actual additional cup that I added at the last minute, so I have to go back and double check that these seams do match, but yours should match a whole lot closer. Okay, there is our cup. I'm going to go trim down my seam allowances and kind of make sure everything looks good together, and then I'll be ready to start sewing these into the bra. Okay, so before moving forward, and I'm standing in the shadow so it's a little bit easier to see, you can see that my cup has a fair amount of little puckers in here, and what I want to do is I actually want to press and see if I can get those out. And so I'm using steam and trying pulling that seam a little bit to see if we can get that out. And what the steam will do is the steam will help loosen the fibers, so it'll be able to stretch a little bit. As I steam myself a bit. And that one looks really good. I actually sewed a little pleat in there, so I'm kind of SOL on that, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of tug to try and flatten that seam out. And sometimes if you use a slightly looser tension on your thread, you won't have this issue. I'm lucky because I've got this industrial iron, so I can kind of, you know, steam the life out of it. But while the threads are still kind of damp, I will kind of go in and just kind of help mold that a bit. Okay, that way our curves are nice and smooth, so we can go on to the next step. Thanks for watching. If you would like to have more content like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment below. Thank you very much.